right. Let's get this webinar started. What do you say, Chip?
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Very good. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us with this buying power calculator webinar. We're doing our best here to turn website visitors into home buyers. I'm one of your hosts. My name is Brandon Barrowman. I'm a HubSpot data strategist here at Builder Designs, and of course, I'm joined by Builder Designs founder CEO Chip Johnson. Needs
Hello, hello.
Needs no introduction. So, Chip, what are we here talking about today? Buying power, calculator, all this other stuff, builder success, data, and getting all of our conversions in order, right?
Well, we're talking about, it's a lot. There's a lot to unpack, and we're going to cover a lot of ground here, but I think it's important. We wanted to have this webinar to just kind of talk about some of the things that we're seeing that are working. It's a tough market. Everybody knows that. Buyers are finicky, and builders are struggling to sell the amount of homes that they want. So anything we can do to help provide intelligence, strategy, et cetera, to kind of tilt that back in their favor. And we have some cool stuff that we're going to talk about that is doing that. So we wanted to kind of bring that out and help, maybe provide some strategic direction so that you can kind of fine tune your marketing.
Absolutely. Yep. That's exactly what we're going to go over today. We have a like you said, we have a couple of tools. We have a couple of key insights as far as what brings about these types of innovations when it comes to different types of conversions, when it comes to different marketing strategies. We've been talking about financing strategies for years now. I mean, we've talked about selling the rate, selling the payment, and so I think we have a couple tools that we're going to go over today that really kind of help deliver on some of those conversion pieces there, which I think is going to be I think it's going to be really good. So. It's kind of a weird market out there. This actually just came out today in Forbes. It was talking about how new home inventory has reached a high that we haven't reached in a while, since 2009, which is right about when Builder Designs kind of got their start, and Chip started making websites for home builders. And so as things kind of tighten, it's been kind of in our DNA to drive some of these innovations and arm builders with as many sales tools, tech tools as humanly possible. A lot of us are going to really start feeling this soon if we aren't feeling it already. Just things with the economy, things with the cost of inflation, we're still dealing with, and so that's kind of led to a little bit of a pause or a slowdown, if you will, in purchasing. And obviously, rates being as high as they are, and for as long as they are, it's kind of been tough out there for a lot of builders. So, when the going gets tough, you can either sit there and kind of really try to deliver on the marketing and sales strategies that you've been working on over the last few years, or you can evolve and innovate, and that's kind of what we're really kind of working for here. But to put this article that's available on Forbes into a little bit more um, context here, we have a portfolio of over 400 home builder websites, home builder and developer websites in our portfolio, which means we have all this data at our disposal. And one thing that we're kind of looking at here is, okay, so if things are kind of slowing down, or maybe they're not slowing down, but the rate of these engagements and these leads are kind of changing, what exactly does that look like? And something that we've actually found year over year, so comparing the last 365 days to the previous 365 days, engagement on home builder websites is actually up just a little bit to about 63%. This does filter out all of our ads traffic, so, because some builders are going to drive a lot more traffic via ads, other builders are going to drive significantly less traffic via ads. So we wanted to really focus on referral traffic, organic traffic through like search engines, as well as a little bit of AI, and certainly direct traffic from people just going directly to the home builder websites. And we've actually seen that engagement, which means the amount of stuff we're doing on the website. We're downloading brochures, we're looking at videos, obviously looking at photos, certainly reading descriptions and headlines and whatnot. So the actual activity itself is actually up, which is really good. We would say, okay, we're doing a really good job of delivering on content that people are interacting with. Awesome. Um, the other side of that equation is that once we do that, once we start building all of that content and really start delivering on that promise of whatever that promise is for our brand, that should lead to conversions. I mean, that's the natural piece. We look at volume, the amount of traffic, we look at engagement, what they're doing on the website, and then we look at web to lead conversion. But that web to lead conversion is actually down to a little over 0.5% year over year. So last year we were looking at around point 0.6, point 0.7. It's been relatively consistent there. Again, this is across all 400 some odd websites, and we have decreased that conversion rate to just a little over 0.5%. So what that means is we're driving good traffic to websites, we're getting good engagement, we're doing a really good job there. But when it comes to actually getting that lead, getting that information from the actual user, from our visitors here, we're not shooting quite as well as we did over the last few years. And so what that does is that does open a bit of an opportunity for us. I also wanted to include the organic traffic trends as well. So this kind of tells us that organic traffic month over month is actually going down as we go into the future here. So 2024 organic traffic looked pretty solid, but here in 2025 we're actually seeing significantly less organic traffic. Now, a lot of this does have to do with AI search. We've talked about that quite a bit. The actual, people searching for a home builder website, landing on home builder websites. AI search has changed a lot of this, but economic conditions will also change a lot of this too. We simply have fewer people looking than we had, a year ago, and certainly from the immediate post-COVID numbers, we saw some pretty ridiculous overall traffic numbers there. So across the industry, web traffic's down organically, engagement's up, but leads are down, which means we have the audience, Chip, but we're not necessarily getting those conversions. Why is that?
Yeah, why is that? That's a great question. So, what we know now, and I think it's the data kind of proves this out, that we're really dealing with two buyer personas. One is the buyer that's looking for a deal, looking for the best rate, the best discount, how to make it work in their favor. And then you've got the skeptic who's sitting on the sidelines saying, you know what, yeah, we'd love to move, we'd love to buy a new home, upgrade, whatever, but the market's horrible. Material costs are going up, rates are high. I mean, there's a lot of headwinds if you're a buyer, and it's. I mean, and when I look at that, the slide before that, Brandon, I've been doing this a long time, and summertime historically every year
Always.
is always down.
Yeah.
So, we do have clients that are on track to meet goals.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's a mixed bag. And in certain markets like the DFW market, which we're really involved in, I mean, that's a market that's really, they're struggling. And so, there's different pockets where it's not as much of a problem. But the bottom line is that what we're trying to do with our marketing and the website, using the website as a tool, is to really tap into the psychology of the buyer and really try to pull those buyers that are on the sidelines back into the game, and at least take a look at the deals that we have. I mean, there's a lot of deals out there. There's a lot of really good rates. I mean, we're talking about rates in the fours. Builders are spending a lot of money buying those rates down, providing those kinds of programs so that you can get the payment down. So, we've got that going on. The hard part is, how do you translate that to something that we don't make the buyer have to go do the math and the calculus to figure out what their payment would be. And so then the other one is, the deal maker, or the guy that's looking for the best deal. That's an easier one to hit. And that's really what the buying power tool it has shown, is we're making it easy for buyers to kind of look and see what a payment looks like for this house. So, but the bottom line for us, and this is the thing, websites, marketing, everything that we do, at the end of the day, we're held accountable for the amount of leads that we're generating for our clients. We can drive a ton of traffic, but if we're not generating leads, then we got a problem. We got to figure out how to make that better. And everybody's fighting the same battle, and we're all looking for the same buyers. So, what do you do to set yourself apart from everybody else? Well, that's what the buying power tool can do. But breaking it down even a little bit more,
Mhm.
I'm a big fan in making the buying experience personal. You want to personalize that so that when I'm looking, I feel like the information, the content that I'm provided is really speaking to me personally. And we can take that a step further and say, okay, how do we sell affordability? One of the things that you can do is not sell the price of the home, but sell the monthly payment, and roll those incentives into that monthly payment. So you go, oh, wow, 3,800 bucks a month, that I can do. So that's another one. Then we want to simplify it. Again, if you've got rates, if you've got different promos that you're rolling out there, go ahead and calculate that into a monthly payment. So you're not making the consumer do the math. We get right to payment. We're selling payment. We're pulling a page out of the automotive industry. What's this car going to cost? What's this house going to cost? We all buy based on monthly payment. We know what our monthly budget is for the most part. So we've got to find the number that fits into that. And then the second thing, or the fourth thing, is there's a sense of urgency here because it's a bad market or it's a tough market, but there's opportunities, and the longer you wait to make a move and to buy a house, it's costing you money because we know that on average a house is going to appreciate 4% year over year. So a house that costs $400,000 today is going to be 416 in a year, and then 432, and on it goes. So, there is a cost for sitting on the sidelines and waiting. So we want to take all of that and provide the consumer with an easy way to kind of quantify what buying a new home looks like for them, and do it in a way where there is a sense of urgency. And we want to let's take a look at this stuff now, because these rate promos, they may not be around next month. So
Right.
all of that.
So yeah, take us through that
Okay.
buying power calculator. We kind of talked about that earlier, but
Yep.
what is
Yep.
it? How does it work?
Okay, so the buying power calculator is really a way for, we're going to personalize this. So we're going to go in and we're going to provide them, our marketing content is going to be pushing out buying power calculator. Well, what's buying power? What does that mean? Well, come in, take a look. So we're going to ask some simple questions. We're going to ask what your income is, what your monthly payments are. And it's just a short form, but it's going to return a monthly budget based on your information that is personalized to you. So, based on the information that you've given us, you could easily afford a $3,800 a month house payment. Okay. Or if you want to go into a little bit of a tighter budget, then you could go up to 4,400. And then if you had somebody like your grandmother provide you with, $100,000 more for a down payment, then you could go into the stretch category, and it's going to show all of the homes that fit your budget, that fit you personally. And then it's going to take you in and show you those homes, and you can click on any of those homes, and it's going to show you, here's what the monthly payment looks like on this house with that incentive rolled into it. So here's an example of, I filled out the form, and here's what I can afford, potentially. And so it's just giving me a range. And like I said, it's, very affordable. Then you've got your stretch, and then you've got the max. So if you really wanted to stretch it as far as you could, you could get up to 3,500 bucks a month. And then, again, go in and show me the homes that match, my buying power. So it's marketing at the end of the day, Brandon. It's like,
Sure.
we're marketing. We're trying to provide people with a personalized experience to home ownership, and we're doing it in a way that really hasn't been done before. The whole idea of the buying power calculator came from we had done some of the buying power calculator, and everybody's done affordability tools and things like that,
Right.
mortgage calculators. Everybody has them, but we wanted to take it a step further and really incorporate the incentive piece, so that we could show, if you've got a 399, 499, 599, whatever that is, it's going to show that house with that payment applied to it. And that's an area where a lot of times builders struggle with that, because how do you do it in a way where it's easy for you to go in your admin and plug in a rate promo and then apply it to a house or a community or everything on the site. Everybody has homes that have been sitting around for, too long. Well, those are the ones we want to have the deepest discount, so we can apply that rate to those houses. So that's something that, again, that's that sense of urgency where, this promo isn't going to last forever, that kind of thing. So, but back to the buying power tool. So we filled out our information. We've come back. It's come back and said, okay, here's your buying power, and then here are homes that match your budget. You can click on any one of these. And I think, Brandon, the next slide is your true monthly pricing. So what we're doing on this is we're taking, again, all of the incentives that are available. We're rolling that into this house, and it's showing us the monthly payment. And we're including P&I. We're including all of the things that you want to include in that. I mean, it's designed to be flexible. So if you have homeowner, HOA dues, whatever, we can roll that into this. So this is your true cost for this house per month. So it's just kind of nice because we're showing that. And if you click on the payment details, I don't know if we have that slide here, but it takes them in and it shows everything. And then you can play around with rates and
Right.
there's a variety of things you can do. The thing that the cool thing about this is that when you go through this and you click submit, you're sending a lead in, and then the OSC or whoever it is on the builder side of that equation, they know that here's what they're looking for, here's what they're interested in. It's giving you a lot more intel about what your buyer, what that profile looks like. So it just gives us more data that we can fine tune our marketing around. So
Right. And that's the thing I like the most about this is when we talk about different conversion paths on websites and who's going to convert where and why, the buying power tool does offer a product in return for your information. That's what we're doing. We're asking the buyer to fill out their contact information. We're asking the buyer to fill out roughly what their financial situation looks like. Obviously, it doesn't have to. This isn't like a pre-approval application or anything. We're just punching numbers into calculators here. But what we can do is we can then tailor their current situation to what the builder currently has in terms of inventory, but also in terms of what incentives are going on right now. And then we can obviously, like you said, kind of go back to that monthly payment piece. But like you said, that monthly payment piece, this, if you're a first time home buyer or a builder that caters to a lot of first time home buyers, a lot of times there's a lot of education that actually needs to be done, is like, what exactly goes into my monthly payment? Are we talking about just principal and interest like you talked about? Are we talking about HOA dues? Are we talking about property taxes? Now, obviously, these are the property tax is more of an estimation, but a lot of calculators out there don't bring those things into the fold, and so having that true monthly pricing, having that I've seen builders use transparent pricing before, understanding that, hey, what you see here is going to be pretty darn close to what you get. Now, obviously, we have to do actual, applications. We have to get approved. We have, there's a lot of other stuff that goes in there, but what we're seeing here not only reflects the buyer's current situation based off of their numbers, but also reflects the builder's situation based off of what incentive they might be running, or as you see in this example, what few a couple of incentives they might be running. And so what we're giving the buyer is we're giving the buyer a chance to learn more about their buying power. We're sending that lead to the OSC. We're sending that lead to the sales team. And maybe it's a slower burn because we're not actually asking to go and tour a home at the moment. Maybe we're just kind of feeling out where we're at. But what that's doing is that's getting this lead into our CRM maybe a little bit earlier than we would otherwise. And it's giving our OSC team, it's giving our on-site sales team a little bit of ammo to work with, saying, hey, I notice you're looking at this home in Yukon. Here's what else we have. Here are the other homes we have that might be similar to this. Or if you're looking for a specific feature in a home, here's kind of what we have available. So it's a really powerful tool to get customer information in front of salespeople to really get at the obstacle, financial obstacle they might be facing, and really try to talk them through that. And instead of having them run the risk of disqualifying themselves because I can't afford a home right now, we see that quite a bit as well.
Yeah, and I think that the thing that also that it does is you can A/B test on your site. So
Sure.
a lot of builders will have like let's just say $20,000 use as you choose. Okay, great. $20,000. I can use that for a down payment, or I could use it for a rate buy down. I could giving that giving that, which is wonderful. And a lot of builders have just realized, look, we're going to take a haircut on these homes. We just have to. That's the world we're in right now. But instead of just putting out a promo on the homepage that says $20,000 use as you choose, and then it's up to you to figure that out. You can go in on specific homes and say, okay, we're going to take that cash and we're going to go talk to our lending partner. We're going to find out what kind of promo we could offer. And so let's say it's 499. So then we could go in and we could say, okay, based on the data of the user, people are engaged more on the 399 promo or 499 promo,
Right.
as opposed to the ones that don't have it or just have a $20,000. I mean, I know what the answer of that whole thing is, and we have some metrics here in a minute that we can talk about. But for a lot of builders that are like, well, we don't really do rate promos. Okay, I get it. It's for whatever reason you don't want to go down that road. But what if you tested it and you found out that, guess what? People do
Right.
engage on that, and they do ask questions, and they are better informed that way. So it gives you something that you may not have known before, but you know now. And so we've seen that happen in the builders that we've rolled this out on. So I think it's at the end of the day, this is a foundation from where you can build on. And this is really going to, into that whole using your website as a sales tool, because I think that as we move forward in this market and the next, this is going to be something where this is going to be important. I think again, I think it's a foundational component of your website. It's not just, hey, here's our homes, but it's here's how we can help you make a deal, or here's how we can make
Yeah.
a deal for you, or you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's one story we heard from a builder who's currently using this home buying calculator, that the sales team is actually using the home buying calculator themselves. It kind of helps. I mean, salespeople aren't necessarily finance experts. They're not loan officers. And so what this enables for the salespeople to be able to do is to kind of look at what the buyer's current situation is and really kind of talk about delivering value and using the buying power calculator as a sales tool, whether that be online or in the model home there themselves. That way we're giving the sales team and we're giving the customers the homes that they can afford, the homes that they're going to love, and not waste our time on trying to qualify them and really kind of figure out where they should be through a bunch of different questions. We can just fill out this buying power calculator and say, here's are the homes we offer. These are the incentives that we're looking at and saying, okay, great. This is kind of where our starting point is, and it's always great to start in the affordable. Okay, I'm gonna sort these homes from low to high as far as the price. We all do that, whether we're shopping for homes, whether we're shopping for cars, whether we're shopping for something on Amazon. We always want the best value out there. But if we
Mhm.
start from the low end, and I have the slide up here. Okay, we're starting at around, 5,500 a month. Okay, this is where we'd like to be, but how many times do we get to the actual communities? We go through all the options, we go through all the different things that the builder can offer, and we say, "Oh wow, I really like this other plan, man. I could really see myself in there." Then we can start talking about roughly what the payments would be. Now, again, this is all dependent on actual qualification status. What rate do they actually qualify for? Do they have enough money down, etc. However, now we can really start assigning what our actual home our home buying value actually is. So we've actually seen salespeople internally use this home buyer calculator to not only put their registering their lead in their CRM by having them fill this out, but also we get so much information to really kind of start from. We get a better starting point, and we can focus more on delivering that new home journey, that brand new home smell that buyers are obviously looking for. So, Chip, we have this awesome home buying calculator. That's awesome. But in terms of turning this into actual leads, we need to make sure builders are successful in doing this. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we have a builder success program. What's that? How do we get involved? And what's our model here?
Yeah. Well, so, you know, basically it's a new and improved version of marketing. Digital marketing is something that we do, everybody does, but we wanted to roll in, and this is based on a lot of things, but even the buying power tool. I mean, you can just take the tech and dump it on the site and say, okay, good luck. But really, you got to push that content out. You have to let people know we have this cool tool. Come check it out. And then
Right.
when they get there, the call to actions, the things that really kind of matter on how engagement works. So it was important that we married the marketing team, the creative team, the data side, what you do,
Yeah.
with the support all into one service, so that if you're a home builder, you may not just need marketing. You may need a little bit of marketing, but then you need help with strategy, or you may need help with social, or you may need it, whatever that is, SEO. We need to integrate this in our CRM. We need to make sure that we're doing all of the things that are important. So it's a team effort. It's kind of a fractional. I mean, it's basically you're taking the entire Builder Designs company and rolling it into what do you need help with, and then once a month or once a quarter or every 6 months or whatever it is, we have the experts on the builder success team that can help you get things done as fast as possible, because right now time is money and you got to move quickly. We can't sit back and just wait for something to get done. And so by having the builder success program, we're really taking into effect all of the things that we can help you with, and providing that as a service, so that, like I said, you get things done quickly and you've got the right experts on the call, so that you can, whether it's a campaign, let's just say, for example, okay, we want to do the buying power tool. Great. Let's get it set up. So the tech team goes in, implements it on the site, sets it up so in the admin, you can go in, we train you on how to go in and put in your promos, all that stuff. But then the marketing team is going to come in and set up the call to actions, the homepage banners,
Right.
and then also create, the offsite marketing that's going to drive the traffic in. And then you've got your SEO people, looking at data. So month over month, we can see, okay, here's what's happening. And again, that's at the end of the day, the data is the thing that really tells the story. And frequently, well, and this slide kind of answers that. I mean, this is we talked about leads and talked about sales and traffic and all the things, but this is sort of the formula of our existence. This is the
Yeah.
sales funnel that every builder, whether they know it or not, or whether they track all this data or not, this is a formula that we all follow.
Yeah,
And
it is kind of formulaic, and as stuff happens, as economic conditions change, as our industry changes a little bit, we want to make sure that we have some sort of formula for success. So, you know, and we talk about this the data on this slide all the time. How many website visitors are you getting? How many leads are you getting overall? Not just online but on site as well. How is traffic doing? And so, one thing we like to do though is, yes, we want to keep track of these numbers and everything, but we also want to push buttons and pull levers and say, okay, well, what's going to push this forward? Or do we need to drive more traffic, or do we need to take the traffic that were there, and do we need to bump up the conversion rate? So this is one of those things where traffic, like we talked about at the very beginning of this, traffic is becoming a little bit less common here, and we're starting to see downward trends in some things, but we still have homes to sell. So it's like, okay, all right, how can we go ahead and take the website traffic that we do have, make sure we turn them into leads? How can we ensure that the people that are coming coming and visiting our model homes, that we are getting them back to some sort of 15-minute discussion, some sort of presentation, and really get them in front of our talented salespeople and provide those salespeople with everything they need to sell homes. And this buying power calculator is just one of those ways we can really try to bump up those conversion rates, because we are putting that form and we are collecting that information, and in return, the buyer is getting exactly what their buying power is, and clarity into exactly what incentives the builder's offering and how that applies to their current situation as well, which is awesome. And we do have a couple of chats in the Q&A, so I want to make sure we get to those before we close out. So for sure. Anything else you want to talk about the builder
Well,
success as far
yeah,
as
I mean, some of the things, and you know how it is, and when you start developing a product, you see opportunities to improve it. And so one of the things that we found is that if you're a buyer and you're looking for deals and you're looking around and maybe today isn't the right day, but in 30 days something may change and in your situation and you'll be able to do it, you know, because I mean, let's be honest, it doesn't, you know, we may want to buy a home, but it's going to take a little bit of time for us to get the money right and square things up, whatever. So one of the things that the buying power tool can do is you can say, notify me when new promos are dropped, when, you know, any kind of new incentive, whatever the case may be, homes that are similar to this, that they fit my budget. And then we're sending an email to the client. So, you know, you can really kind of create that engagement, that sort of, you know, removing of the friction type thing to get people coming back to the site. And it just opens up opportunity for more leads, more communication for your salespeople to really sell them on. Because at the end of the day, what we do is, you know, we provide the technology and the marketing to drive the traffic, but really it's to the salespeople. And the salespeople are the ones that are going to really make these deals happen, because you're going to get on the phone call and talk to somebody and say, okay, well, here's how we can do it. And so this takes them all the way to the OSC, all the way to the sales team, and they take it from there. But we want to create this round trip traffic pattern so that they're coming back and looking, because, hey, I know what my buying power is. You know, here's the homes that I can afford. And, you know, we're just trying to make it easier for them to figure that out.
Right. It all comes down to leads. Marketing always wants to try to provide leads to sales. Sales always is, you know, trying to close everything, obviously. So by keeping this machine running, that's the name of the game here. But let's look. So we do have a little bit of data to show that the buying power calculator actually has a place in your conversion paths. So this is a form from one of the builders that has this over the past 30 days. And the buying power calculator is actually one of the highest drivers of leads or registrants, if you're a Lasso user over this particular 30 days. So we have all these different lead sources. We've got Zillow, we've got BDX, we've got sources from billboard signs, we've got paid search, paid social, all this other stuff. But what the thing that is capturing the most amount of information for the actual builders itself over the last 30 days anyway is actually going to be this buying power calculator. So that's really kind of an interesting. It's not necessarily surprising, because it is a little bit lower, or I guess higher in the funnel. Conversion. We're not actively saying, yes, I want to purchase a home today. We are still in that weird awareness consideration stage. But now look at all the leads that this builder has in their CRM that they can start to nurture. And, even if we close a few more of these, or get a few of these leads qualified, these are leads we may not have had before. We may not have been able to get their information before, but now we can, and really kind of turn them over to the actual salespeople to really kind of close the deal there. Chip, any thoughts on this? Probably no
Yeah,
surprise to you.
on this slide, this specific builder that we rolled this out for, it's cool. They sold a home based on the buying power tool that first week. We launched it, and we didn't communicate. I don't say we, the marketing director didn't, because we launched this on a Thursday night, and we hadn't told the OSC that this was coming. And the OSC is like, what is going on? Where are all these
What did
leads?
you guys do?
What in the heck? So I think that what I would say is, if this is something you're considering doing, it starts with the discussion about implementing and then also the go-to-market piece because we've done enough of these where there's about three steps that need to go into this to make it work well.
Yeah.
So I would say that if it's something that you're considering, and I strongly consider that you take a hard look at this because it just flat out works. So, and this technology that we're talking about here is moving rapidly. There's new things we're already talking about implementing in, the next version. So, I just think that we're excited about it because it's helping buyers and helping builders really kind of do the things that sometimes are difficult to do.
Yeah, like I said, it's giving those sales teams information to work with, maybe a little bit earlier than we would otherwise. We do have a couple of questions that I wanted to make sure that we do get to. So, first one is, have you guys seen any data on buyers getting form fatigue if they see, if they see an estimate my qualification on a different website and then they come to ours, and they ask to fill out a similar form? Are they going to do it? Are they going to click off? Totally valid question, and I think form fatigue is for sure a real thing. And generally, our opinion on gating any sort of content is we want to be really careful on the type of content that we're gating. We don't necessarily want to, restrict any sort of data that should be publicly facing. But I think the part about this is that we are offering something to the buyers in return. We are giving them some sort of information. So generally, by that rule, we would say, yeah, we can go ahead and put a form, in front of this. And I think generally buyers know that this is a marketing tool. But in order to be able to purchase and look at, or sorry, to look at and browse all of the homes that you can afford that are tied to you and your in your situation, we generally think that is probably worth a form submission. Don't mind putting that in front of anybody. Chip, any thoughts on form fatigue through the buying power calculator?
Um, no, no. I mean, I get it. I understand. But
Sure.
it's like if I want to know if it looks right, and again, that goes back to the marketing and what am I looking at here? Do I really want to find out what I can afford? And I mean, show me the monthly payment. Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth filling that form out.
Yeah. No, another question here, and this be a good one for you. And if we don't have this feature, we could definitely add it. Is there a feature to track what payments are being run on the payment calculator? Meaning that at the end of the month, can we get a report on where buyers are being qualified through the buying power calculator? So we had 20 or so buyers qualify for maybe like a price range or so. That might be a good version two of this, if we can kind of do that. Any
Well,
on that, Chip?
yeah, I mean, yeah, we're really big on the financing side of things, and we all believe that integrating lending financing into the buying experience is going to be the next big thing, really removing the friction. I mean, that's the thing that everybody gets stressed out about is, getting pre-approved. If we can make that easy, if we can show them, you know, you can let's get pre-approved. We've already got your information. We've already got your information. We know what rates are being offered. Let's get pre-approved. Just click a button because information is already in there. So we're removing friction from a very stressful experience. So I think that integrating lending into this, and it's real simple to do, if as long as
Yep.
your lending partner is on board, and that's all. I say it's simple. It's not. It's simple for us to send the information to the lender, but you have to have a lending partner that's willing to take that information and work that, and get back to them quickly. But that can all be overcome because
Yeah.
think about it. You're sending the lender a hot lead of somebody that's at the bottom of the buying funnel that's ready to get pre-qualified. So, yeah, that's something that they'll get excited about that too.
Yeah, for sure. Thoughts on using this using this primarily for quick delivery homes, so homes that are currently completed or are scheduled to be completed within the next 30 days. This person feels like could be misleading considering that current prices listed are at base before they add all the options. And I think that's a legitimate consideration of as far as me, saying, hey, this is where my buying power is. Okay, this home is affordable at this base price. And I think that all has to do with what pricing structure you're comfortable with on your website. That's kind of my what my take would be. I think this is perfect for those quick delivery homes, those homes that maybe are about to be available to be move-in ready, or the homes that maybe have been sitting a while. We already know what the final price might be, at least today is. So I think it'd be a little bit easier for that, but I can definitely understand where you're kind of coming from as far as like this is the base price of this home before we add any options that could be that mortgage or that monthly payment could go up obviously as those features are added there. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing we can't control is material costs going up.
sure.
And I mean, it's just that's just the world we live in. But for standing inventory for homes that are, 30 days, out, it still works great because we know what that cost looks like.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I think that if I was doing it, if I was a builder, I would have the homes that are standing inventory. The minute that they're standing for 30 days or more, that's when I would roll those incentives onto those specific homes.
Yeah.
Because then that's kind of like, oh, these are the ones that are, because it does two things. One, it shows it, here's the incentive, or here's the promo. And then two, the sense of urgency, because these homes aren't going to be around long. So, I mean, it's just kind of, I don't know. It's just a way for people to kind of scroll through and find the ones that have the biggest discounts or the best deals or whatever the case may be. Because at the end of the day, we have to be able to afford the payment. And it may not
Right.
be exactly the house we want, but it's going to give us the houses that we can afford today and gets us in the house. And then, we go from there. So, but yeah, I mean, it could work for to be
Yeah.
built. It's not quite as easy because you can't forecast the cost of the house as accurately.
Right. Totally agree with that. Can the calculator take HOA dues into consideration when recommending homes and communities? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
HOA
Yep.
dues are one of the variables that can be content managed on the back end in Builder Cloud. So if you do have a community with a sizable HOA, we can go ahead and factor that into the monthly payment in terms of that transparent and true pricing there. So yeah, good question there.
Yeah, and even if you don't have, and this is something I think I should be mentioned, even if you don't have a rate promo, we can still the buying power tool can still pull in the effective rate today, and we pull that
Yeah.
from the national. So we know let's say that today's rate is 6 and 7/8. We can show the buying power tool. We can show all the homes that have that rate applied to it, so you can still see
Right.
what you could afford at that rate, and then you can always have the discussion with the builder about is there any incentives that we can apply to this? Well, sure. And then, the salespeople do their thing. So
Yeah.
it doesn't, you don't have to have a rate promo to make this thing work. We can still show the monthly payment based on whatever the going rate is.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one final question here is, do we have data from the builder that we showed the amount of leads are? How many of these leads converted to an appointment? And then I assume the next question would be, how many of those appointments converted to an actual sale? We can certainly grab that information for you. The link to this webinar we put into a blog at buildersigns.com. We'll be able to share a little bit more information in terms of the overall data there. So absolutely, we can definitely be able to share that data, but also keep in mind that we want to make sure that the leads that did get submitted through the website have enough time to really fully mature because those numbers might mature over a little bit longer time. Again, because we're not asking the builder for an actual tour, we're just finding out information. A second conversion or a reconversion probably going to be pretty common with these, and certainly OSCs and sales pros are going to have a little bit more work cut out for them as far as that follow up. Again, because we are just a little bit earlier in the buyer journey, but we have the mission accomplished here of getting potential buyers in front of our talented salespeople. So I think that is I got a couple of questions. What's the pricing for this product? What's the process of getting this product onto our website? Depending on how you want to roll this out, there are a couple of different variables. Like Chip said, there's three kind of variables we want to really kind of account for in getting this on your site. What type of site you kind of have, where does it live, what's the marketing piece behind there. So this is something that will probably gonna need a conversation with our director of new business, Amber. So if you are interested in any way on just learning more, or you say, hey, I've heard enough. I want this thing. Head on over to builderdesigns.com, or follow us on socials, DM us on socials, and we'll get something set up for you guys, and trying to get this thing live for you as soon as you can. So, but that is. Um,
Wrap.
Oh, that's one more question. And usually, I would think this. Do we share leads with other builders in the same city area?
Oh,
Absolutely not. This is your data. This goes directly to the builder. So if you have a buying power calculator on your website, nobody else is going to see that lead data in your area, just you. So that's something we take pretty seriously too, as far as that data integrity. Not only with your lead data, with your website data, with your everything. So anything that we do share on this is anonymous data. We definitely don't want to share any sort of trade secrets that builders might have. So another good question. But think that's really kind of all we have. If you guys do have any other questions, again, feel free to DM us on social media, or head over to builderdesigns.com to ask us some more questions. We'd love to demo this for you guys live. If you want to. I think there's a lot we can really do here. So, Chip, any other closing remarks? Any
nope,
thoughts?
nope. No, I mean, just hey, if you have any thoughts, questions, concerns, just get on a call and we can just walk through it and get into the. I never like to do live demos going into the admin and all that stuff online. I've learned the hard way that it creates too many problems. So if you really want to dive into this, and not to, I mean, this is inexpensive. This is an inexpensive bolt-on. So we've already built the tool. So for us to turn it on to your site, it's not something that it's going to take weeks and weeks to do. So it can happen pretty quickly. So if it's something that you're wanting to take a look at, then just let us know.
Awesome. Well, I think that's going to do it for us. Our goal was to shoot for around 35 minutes, but definitely love hearing the questions that you guys have over this buying power tool. I think it's definitely going to be something to watch over the next few months. Obviously, as traffic and leads become more and more valuable. So thank you all so much for listening in. If one of your colleagues wasn't able to listen in or watch this presentation, we will have a recording that we're going to put on our website, builderdesigns.com. Again, we're going to accompany that with a blog, as well as a few other screenshots into the overall buying calculator. But again, my name is Brandon. This was Chip. I really appreciate you guys' time and talking about the buying power calculator with us. Appreciate it, guys.
Yep. See you.
Yeah.